The reason why I put that book together is because I used to struggle with boundaries and I used to struggle with saying no, and I really felt guilty about it, and it caused me serious anxiety. Like anxiety where I couldn't breathe, anxiety where I didn't want to answer the phone because people were calling me. At one time, I was taking care of 6 people. Yeah.
And welcome back to another episode of Keeping It a Bean. Keeping It a Bean is a podcast that brings together culture and conversation all over a cup of coffee. But as per usual, in tonight's case, some tea. Okay. Cheers. Cheers. I love that the ladies do the cheers because the guys do not do that. And thank you.
The cheers is important.
Okay, let me take this sip.
Brings it all together.
Bring it all together. No, thank you. My name is Marquise Davon. Keys, don't ever call me Mark in your life. You already know what the vibes are, and that's only if you're new here. However, if you're returning, hello to niggas and niggas only. You already know what the vibes are for today. And I am so excited to get into this conversation today because there's so much around womanhood, but also who makes the rules for women, what rules have we been following, but also I always think around a story around my sister, and she says when she turned 30, she was like, I'm a mom, I'm a girlfriend, I go to church, I go to work, I'm a daughter, I do all of this, but I don't know who Asia is. And being able to get to know this particular guest, and I'm so excited to introduce her to everybody, is also not only is she a life coach, she's also does stuff with women empowerment. You are a speaker, you are a motivator, you're an inspiration. And I got to meet you, and Kavon actually remembered who you were from Temple, and it was super dope. He was like, oh no, I know this might be a good one. Legitimately. Yeah.
He reached out to me and he wanted to do a one-on-one. I made time.
Come on.
I even checked in to see what his progress was to try to keep him accountable.
Right.
I hadn't heard from you since, but I'm glad.
Okay.
Did you dare? You did.
You had him. You had him reading.
Yeah.
I said, but you didn't take my book recommendation.
I'm so happy because Think as a Man or As a Man Thinks is a short read. But it's really powerful. So I'm glad that you were able to take something from that conversation. And I'm glad to see you today, too. So.
Yeah, this is my production assistant. Yeah. This is my T right there. Stop playing with him.
Top dog.
Top dog. Stop playing with him, all right? But in reality, like, Ellyse, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Legitimately, for those that are new to the space, like real quick, in order to support this here podcast, you can do so in one of 2 ways. You can do so monetarily, which you can do through patreon.com/Marquise Davon. That's MarquiseDavon. You can become a patron for as low as $2 a month, which is $24 a year. Please do that because ain't some of y'all not even using your Planet Fitness account. I might be yelling at myself a little bit right there. I've been getting better, so stop playing with me. Daniel, worry about your ketosis. Don't worry about what I'm doing over here. Keto diet, the fuck.
Listen, we all
try it. Okay. But in reality, please make sure that you can support this podcast monetarily. You can do so in a couple other fun ways too. And so if you don't want to do a subscription-based model, you can also go and buy Leroy's Blend. Leroy's Blend is my own coffee that we have. It's specialty coffee on top of that. Sourced from Guatemala. Ethically sourced from Guatemala, which is super dope. You can buy this online. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description box below, so please do so. However, it's given a little bit of economic anxiety. We're going to lean this over here because they don't want to play with me today. Leroy's leaning, because it's way to honor my pop-up Leroy. Who's leaning a little bit sometimes on the days. Yeah. I love you, Pop-Up Leroy, or rest in peace, right? I love you. But you can make sure to order the coffee there. Remember, when you are supporting Leroy's NBVP coffee, then that also means that you are at least sending $1 to an HBCU scholarship. So please make sure that you're supporting that fund too, because guess what? You know where your money's going. Thank you. Other than that, I do know that there's a little bit of economic anxiety. It might be giving recession type situation. Eggs are about $12 now. So we out here, that's $1 an egg. Oh. But non-monetarily, if you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about this podcast, make sure to share the clips that you see online. Make sure to hit a rate and review if you're listening to this podcast. Hit a like and subscribe and a notification bell on YouTube if you're watching these 2 very lovely faces on this podcast here right now. Please do. But again, that's great ways to support podcasters by helping us show up in the algorithm, but also getting higher visibility too. So please make sure that you are doing so. So thank you. We can now get to the show. Like I said, Ellyse, I've been excited to have this conversation with you. And especially between like the conversation and getting to meet you. And we've seen each other out now in a couple different spaces, which is dope. Because like, it feels like once I met you, I'm just like, oh, wait, you really be? Yeah, we be in the same spaces. Yeah. But I'm gonna let y'all know right now, besides all the other accolades of her being motivational and all that good stuff, one thing about her, she talks smack during Uno, y'all.
Oh, yes.
She sat right to my right-hand side and is bringing me flashbacks. Yes. Because she was cooking me.
Yes. He was coming with it too. So when I think that we kind of vibe over that, because I'm serious about my Uno and I'm serious about my spades.
Okay.
I don't play. All right?
And I was fully here for it. But that was such a good night. That was a dope Friendsgiving. Shout out to Next Philadelphia for putting on an event. But it was so dope to continue to get to know you in so many different facets. But before we hop into like the fullness of this conversation, like I said, like you are doing some really awesome work. And I'm so excited for my audience to get to know you, especially as like celebrating Women's History Month. You are somebody I think is able to speak to so many different things that some women may be feeling, but also being able to just share your story as well. So I'm excited for this. But before we get into that, we got a little, little icebreaker situation going on. So this is your Keeping It a Bean segment. Keeping It a Bean is a segment where you can give your hot take, whether personal, political, pop culture wise, anything that you're just like, I need to get this off my spirit. This is your opportunity. So what are you keeping it a bean about today?
How much time you got? No,
keep it like Twitter friendly.
Keep it a bean, but keep it short.
Okay.
Keep it a small bean.
Keep it a small bean.
Okay. I would say I am tired of all of the information that is on the internet.
Ooh.
Is information
overload.
Oversaturated.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where people cannot even think for themselves anymore. Specifically, dating advice. It's too much dating advice out there. Be it men, be it women, be it, licensed professionals, doctors, psychiatrists, therapists. Everybody's on the internet giving advice as if they are the subject matter experts.
Right.
It's too much information out there where people forget to interact with people naturally and organically. And if social media wasn't a thing, right? And all you had was your flip phone from back in the day.
Okay, your Nokia. They ain't never gonna break.
Your Singular with the mirror on it.
Okay.
I had a mirror on mine.
I had a Razor when I was a kid.
A Razor. Okay.
Don't play around, because my BlackBerry, she was my favorite phone.
Okay, and I had a Motorola that was as big as this daggone mic.
Oh,
it was huge.
It was thick.
But it was blowing up.
Right.
It was lit.
He said,
hello? But what I'm saying is, people lose the art of conversation. People lose the art of courtship. And they're listening to all of this information. If you want a man, you got to do this. If you want a woman, you got to do this. And it almost feels like we are pinning the men against the women.
Right.
Now it's almost like saying, and I hate to use this analogy, you put, two mice in a box.
Yeah.
And they forget that they're mice.
Right.
So they don't even know how to interact with each other because they've been listening to the internet, and the internet told them that they're chickens.
Right.
You know what I mean? And but that's how
it's
it
accurate,
is.
Though.
It's too much. So I'm sick and tired of all of the information. It's too much information.
Yeah.
You don't need any more information. You don't need any more opinions or suggestions. Do what feels organically to you.
Yeah.
You have your, what is that thing called?
Intuition.
Your intuition.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your intuition, your senses. Use all of that.
Come on.
And have a conversation. So I'm sick of all of the information on the internet.
Thank you. Come on with the hot takes.
I'm sick of it.
Information overload. It's okay. Overload. AKA, go touch some grass.
Yes. Go take your shoes off and put your feet in some grass.
Okay. As our good friend Kyle would say, take your bra off. Let your hair down. Do something.
That's the first thing. Oh, never mind.
When you get home.
That's the first thing I do when I get home. Get that thing out of here.
I'm sick of it.
Oh my God. I'll be swinging around here like a helicopter. Get out of here. But yes, that's my keeping it a bean.
I appreciate that. Yes, please. That's the way we got to do it. Yeah. And if I am going to keep it a bean today, if I'm going to keep it a bean, be nicer to those who like mornings and solitude. I try to keep telling y'all, I'm not a morning person who wants to talk to people. I'm a morning person who likes my quiet and my routine. So when I get up and you see, and I purposely have clear mugs, so you know exactly how ready I am to speak to you based on how much I have drank. Please make sure that you know. If my mug is still full, that's not your indicator to speak to me. I'm just letting you know. I'm a nice person, but I like my quiet. And once you see it at least get below half, you can hit me with a good morning.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Well, at least you let them know.
I do. I be trying to be clear about my boundaries. And as long as you can respect them, we good.
Yeah. You gotta set the boundary early on. Now, I am a morning person. So you're
a social morning person.
I'm like a chirping bird in the morning.
Oh, we're gonna say good morning. What are you happy about? I woke up. Hey, God did. You said I did.
You would be like, bring it down.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. But I do appreciate like morning people who are social. Like I love that for everybody else. Yeah. If you give me like normally in reality, I tell everybody I got my 10-10-10 rule. I get up and stretch for 10 minutes. I then write my affirmations or journal for 10 minutes. And then I'll take my time to make my coffee in the morning. Yeah. And like, that's my 30 minutes I get to myself before I have to interact with the world.
No, that's real. Yeah, I think you should have that.
Yeah. I agree. But that's why I get up early enough
to do that.
So people don't have to see that side. My students saw that side of me for the first time. And I said, they said, are you okay? Do you hate us? I said, no, I don't hate y'all.
That's what they saw. That you're human.
Exactly. And that's all it is. I said, that's all it is. So thank you. Thank you for engaging that Keep It in the Bean segment. We are going to take a very quick break and then we're going to get right back to the show. I'm going to enjoy this episode so much. But in reality, I'm excited so we can steep into this conversation. You get it because you steep your tea.
I was about to say that. You took the words right off of my brain. Steep.
You're the first guest to really just appreciate it.
Oh my God. Totality. You have to steep the tea.
Thank you. And you get it because you let it marinate.
3 to 5 minutes.
Come on.
Listen. We here.
We here. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's steep into this.
Yes, let's steep into this conversation. Right. And honestly and truly, like I told my audience at the beginning of the episode, like I remember this conversation with my sister. And it's not only just my sister, it was also my mom, right? Like they're experiencing it almost feels like a second wave of womanhood that they're experiencing. And my sister experienced it at 30. My mom experienced it at 47. And I was like, Mom, your kids are all officially out of your house. And so what does it look like for you to like exist as just Nicole? My sister was going through it because after becoming a mom and just being like, oh, I'm giving myself to other people all the time, which is still a beautiful like love, niece, nephew, all of that good stuff. But she was like, I don't know what I want right now. And I love what you are able to do because you really are in the space of not just simply just being a life coach. Like I think there's a lot more than that. You're able to tell your story and you allow people to be able to connect with you. And you really turn this into an opportunity to share a service with people. But it's really just like this idea of connection through storytelling. And that's really truly the purest essence of like what this show is made for, which I thought why you were perfect for this kind of platform is like, I believe storytelling breeds empathy, but also allows an avenue for community of just like, I don't need to preach to you, but what can you gather from what I told you?
Right.
And so I would love to know like one, and I know it's like starting off a little heavier, but like, when did you find out who Ellyse was in womanhood?
Well, Ellyse and her audacity, Ellyse and her boldness, Ellyse and her courageousness, Ellyse and her nerve. I am the audacity, right? Rediscovering myself or discovering myself happened in many chapters of my life. It wasn't just one chapter of my life. It was going from an adolescent to an adult. It was becoming a mom. It was being a person that was very giving and empathetic and compassionate, that would give myself to anyone who would ask, because I was just that kind and caring, to the point where if something was going wrong in their lives and they were sad or having a hard time or struggling, it truly impacted me and I could feel those feelings. But after a while of giving to other people, giving so much of myself, there was nothing left for me. And being a mom I was married and with my ex-husband for 17 years.
Wow.
And we raised our twin daughters. I have twin daughters that are 19 years
Come on,
old.
twins.
That are 19 that are in college now and working and navigating that whole world. But being a mom, being a friend, being a daughter, being a socialite, networking, being a businesswoman, working in corporate and then also running my own business. There were many times in my life where I'm like, who is Ellyse?
Yeah. And
really like gathering the courage to explore who she is now and who she's going to be in the future. And what that looked like for me was I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize what I saw.
Yeah.
I looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw.
Right.
I'm like, I don't like my body.
Yeah.
I don't like my personality now. Like I feel very robotic. I'm such a like PTA meetings galore. Yeah. Student trips and family vacations and all of the great things. You're literally doing all the things. Yeah, all of the things that I take great pride in because I want nothing more than to be a mother. I enjoy that and a good mother at that. Right. But it was like, who am I before all of this? I was someone before all of this came along. And I really had to rediscover those things. And what it started with was, what did I like to do as a child? What, like, was it activities? Was it art? Was it cheerleading? This is something that I'm going to tell people that it's going to surprise you. Yeah. When I was rediscovering myself, when I was a teenager, I used to rap and I was really good at it, like really good. I was in a group. Do you know who Mont Brown is? No. Lamont Brown? Okay. He's known in the city as a humanitarian and philanthropist, but I believe he's like A&R with a big major music corporation. We were in a group together when I was like 15, 16 years old, rapping, traveling around Southwest Philadelphia in studios. I wrote poetry and all of that. And so I went back to that in 2019 as a grown adult. Yeah. I decided to rap again because I was rediscovering those things that I once loved as a child. Yeah. And I was okay and I didn't care what anybody thought. I was very confident in myself and comfortable within my skin to go out there in my 30s and be a rapper because I still was good at it. Yeah. Right? So I was actually, believe it or not, a member of Rec Philly. Huh. I performed at Live at Rec. I performed at a lot of nightclubs. I had music on iTunes and Apple and all of that. And then once I mastered it, I stopped and I went to something else. Yeah. And I was going around to different things to see what would fulfill me. Yeah. Getting into exercise, losing weight. Oh, I don't like my body or I don't like what I look like. Let me work on that. Right. You're not going to do... Nothing's going to change if you don't do anything about it. You can complain until you're blue in the face, but you actually have to take action. So I think at each stage in your life, you could be peeling layers of yourself, but get out there and explore the things that you used to like. Yeah. And then explore some things that you've never done before. Come on. And that was the way I was actually rediscovering myself. Writing poetry, traveling alone, nature, botanical gardens, museums, making new friends, connections, being silly, letting my hair down. Yes. I remember I'm long-winded, so let me know. Okay.
You're talking to a long-winded poppy.
Okay, we might talk each other under the ground. But my cousin said to me one time, and I'm not going to say this was during my mother phase. I'm always a mother. Yeah. But it was a point where I was dressing covered up from head to toe. I was like in my younger 30s. Yeah. Head to toe. Wrap dress. I had pantyhose all the way up to here, knee boots. Still was stylish. Yeah. And my cousin said to me, "Why do you dress like an old lady?" Now it stung, but he was being honest. Yeah. He was like, "You're a young mom. I understand you want to be respectful." He was like, you could have, you had style. Still had style, but he was like, I see the confidence, but I also see like you're buttoned up. And I felt like I was just this mechanical woman, just going through the motions of being a mom, going to work, overachieving, Black excellence. And the Black excellence only gets awarded with more work and underpaid and underappreciation and undervalued. So I'm like, I'm not going to be Black excellence anymore. I'm not going to go above and beyond. But it was like, you know what? A year or two later, he's right. I could show a little skin. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not like a mini dress, but I was like, I can feel sexy and I don't have to show everything that I have. Yeah. But I literally was like, but like to the neck, all the way to you didn't see anything but my hands. Yeah.
That is.
How was that process like? Because you said you was confident and comfortable, but how do you get yourself to change during that time, during that 1 to 2 years?
Yeah, what was that transformation like?
That was a good question because at the time, my husband was used to seeing me a certain way.
Yeah.
He seen me grow we were together since I was 19.
Wow.
So he seen me grow from a teenager to my 20s, to a mother, to, all of these things. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for me. He knows. I support anything that you want to do. Yeah. But also I want to respect myself, my relationship. Right. I've never been the type to just be scantily clad and just into the women who do. I don't have anything. But for me, I was like, let me test out a few things. Yeah. Test out a few different outfits. Test out a few different things that I might like to do. Put myself in certain situations that might make myself uncomfortable. And honestly, it wasn't an easy process to transition over to a whole new wardrobe, a whole new body, a whole new attitude, a whole new mental state. A whole new person. Yeah.
Wow. And because something you talk around in there is that space, that transition space, because it's something I think around a lot is like, I tell everybody when I moved into my own apartment, I changed a lot, but I learned how to say no. And mind you, I only just March 3rd is my official 1 year in my apartment. Wow. So it only just happened, but thank you. But I learned how to say no. I learned how to exert some more boundaries. And I'm still like learning to be comfortable with that word because I was such like an over explainer all the time. But what I also realized is how much, as I am learning about myself and saying no and being okay with disappointing people, through that transformation is also a period of grief that comes too, because people grieve the person that you once were.
And so are you.
So when multiple people are experiencing this form of grief, your relationship naturally changes. Yeah. And so how did your transformation begin to change your relationship with your now ex-husband?
Yes.
Now ex-husband, your kids, your friends. What was that like for you to experience that?
So everybody was very supportive, right? Period. Even if they didn't understand the change that I was going through, right? I was very open about how I was feeling and what I wanted to do, and I'm trying this and I'm going to do this, and during my frustration I would be able to vent and talk to people, so they were very supportive. Right. And it wasn't so drastic that it would shake the home, you know what I mean? It was gradually over time. Yeah. And my daughters were supportive because it wasn't like I'm wearing like a fishnet outfit to, their cheerleading.
They're like, oh, period, Mom, you better do that.
Okay, no, but they were very supportive. Now I will say, speaking about boundaries and no, I just released my first ever ebook, The Power of No.
Come on.
Okay. Setting boundaries without guilt. So if you are interested, make sure you
sorry about loud.
that. Yeah. If you're interested, make sure you go to my website at weneedtotalkcoach.com and purchase your ebook for building boundaries. But the reason why I put that book together is because I used to struggle with boundaries, and I used to struggle with saying no, and I really felt guilty about it, and it caused me serious anxiety. Like anxiety where I couldn't breathe, anxiety where I didn't want to didn't want to answer the phone because people were calling me. At one time, I was taking care of 6 people and had a husband and had, twin daughters. And it got to a point where I was like, and this is how I like to describe it. You go to the beach?
Yes, I don't understand it, but I go.
You go to the beach. Yeah. Okay. So when you go to the beach, do you ever get any of like the boardwalk food?
Yeah.
Like pizza, fries, things like
chicken
that.
Tenders, all that good stuff.
What's the bird you always see flying around trying to steal people's
The pigeons.
Food? Yeah, the seagulls.
Yeah, right, seagulls. There we go.
So I like to describe people who use you and you can't say no to like seagulls. They will fly around and they will eat up all of your food and then they will shit on you on the way out. Yeah. And they will leave you they will leave you with nothing, right? Because they just came to take. They didn't come to give. So now you're sitting there, you was excited to be at the beach. Your pizza gone. It's an empty box now. Yeah. And how do you feel? Wow. That's how you feel when you keep saying yes to people, when you say no to yourself, you feel like that empty pizza box.
This is crazy because my one of my good friends, he was like, Marquise, the reason that people will always go to you is because you've never told your people no. They know that you're going to go above and beyond any chance you get because that's your definition of friendship. But he was like, in you always doing that, people are never going to question if they can ask you for something. They're going to consider if you might be going through something because they know that you drop everything to do that. So I love, wow.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say this. In my book, there are practical tools and examples to help you start the conversation, because sometimes it's scary for people to say no, because they're like, well, what is that person going to do without me? Yeah. What if that person doesn't like me and doesn't talk to me anymore? And you know what I say? When someone says that, well, what if they don't talk to me anymore? That's the point. Now I'm not stressed out no more. Now you're not calling me anymore, asking me for stuff, and I'm good. Now I have more time for myself, and I'm recharging my battery. So the first time I said no was very difficult, but if you stay consistent and creating and maintaining your boundaries, you're going to be good. It becomes
a muscle. It's almost like a hygiene routine.
The people that love you and really want to be in your life eventually they won't have any choice but to respect it. Yeah. If they want to be in your life.
That's awesome. And I thank you. And I'm glad we got to know you through that, right? Yeah. You got to talk around like your change. You got to talk around like even rediscovering yourself as well. Mm-hmm. But I think all of those stories go into like, we need to talk.
Yes.
Your stuff as a coach.
Yes.
How the hell you get into coaching? Because who's the person going to be like, yeah, I'm a life coach. Like, what do you mean? Right. Like, coaching, how are you helping me out? Like, how'd you get into that world?
So, yeah, just like you said, some people, you just say, I'm a life coach. Right now, it's not regulated in a sense where you have to have a certain particular degree. Mm-hmm. You can wake up and say, I just want to be a life coach if you want to. For me and my authenticity, this is something that I've always naturally have done. Right. Mentorship since I was a young child, philanthropy, humanitarian, volunteerism, all of those things came naturally to me. And just being a giving and a helping person, and people coming back to me and saying, hey, I had a conversation with you. You actually helped me save my marriage. Or you helped me come out of the closet. Mm-hmm. You helped me and gave me the confidence I needed to wear that all white suit that I've been scared to wear because I thought somebody was going to say something. And you told me, who cares what they say? You bought that suit, wear that suit. You know? And so when people started coming back to me years later telling me this, I was like, I know what my calling is. I know what I want to do. Yeah. I know what I'm passionate about, and it's changing people's lives for the better. Yeah. And it's impacting people. And I want to build a community around that. Yeah. And I want to do it specifically with women. Mm-hmm. I want to empower them and inspire them to be their authentic selves and not to stay inside of a box that people place you in, because people are really good at supporting you if you stay in that box that they put you in.
Because you can make sense to them.
Right. But once you start trying to step out their box, wait a minute, what you doing? This is uncomfortable, right? Yeah. So, teaching women confidence, saying no is okay. Mm-hmm. You don't have to feel guilty about it. Right. Feel empowered, be courageous. All of those things as a woman. Mm-hmm. So that's why I got into it, because naturally it came to me. Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, because there are so many things in there where you're talking around like just start, like a lot of what you were saying. And again, we need to talk, but like you're starting a conversation and giving people tools, or sometimes just being like a thought partner for people too. Yeah. And I think that is, to me, what I had realized so many people are missing is like this idea of mentorship. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I had realized, where my sister was just like, she had to find somebody. Right. And so how do you find the people, or do they seek you out kind of situation? Or you're just like, we built this relationship. What do you think around like turning this into a fuller thing?
Well, so there's been some situations that I had to navigate that are different. So some come naturally, whereas like I don't necessarily need therapy or a clinician or to have somebody, because what I don't work on is past emotional history trauma and emotional, right? So that mental work.
So there's a difference of like a therapist versus a life coach.
Because I'm not a licensed clinician, so that's not something that I would do with trauma. I deal with the here, the now, and where you want to go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Forget what happened before. We can talk a little bit about it, but we can't stay there. Right. Because we're stuck there, and then we're not going to move forward. Right. I mean, LeBron had a coach. Why shouldn't you?
Come on now.
I'm a life coach.
Right.
You need somebody to keep you accountable. You need somebody to motivate you. I think people really have a good idea of what it is they want to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they need a little bit of help getting there. Yeah. And they need a nudge. Right. And they need somebody to walk alongside them, not necessarily telling them what to do, but I'm doing this. You got it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yes. And it's not the first time I've heard somebody say that, of just like kind of needing that. When we had Anthony Moore on, he said a very similar thing. Mm-hmm. He didn't know if he was going to pursue comedy. He didn't know if he was going to really enjoy reading, but a teacher had told him, I think you can do this. Yeah. Can you take us to that time where you were told for the first time, or a time that it felt significant enough to be like, you can do this, and how that changed for you?
I would say fortunately and unfortunately, I did not have a lot of positive role models growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a place of lack. I grew up in an impoverished neighborhood. I grew up in a place that was probably once beautiful but was neglected. A single parent household, not a full-time father, a part-time mom. Grew up and around a lot of drugs and alcohol, and I moved around a lot. So I didn't really have a lot of folks in my life to tell me you can do that. So I had to be the blueprint for myself. I had to be the one to tell myself you can do that. And usually it was on those those dark nights where I'm grabbing the carpet and I'm crying because I'm like, you know, you got this. You have you. And then there were other people along the way that I would meet that would be like, wow, you're special. You have something. You know, I feel the energy. Like, you know, you're very articulate. You're this. You're knowledgeable. Your wisdom. You got this. You do that. Like, that is your calling. Like, you got it. My daughters tell me I got it. You know, my mom now tells me I got it. My ex at the time tell me you got it. My sister, my brother. So I have supportive people in my life who didn't quite understand the journey at the time.
But they were there for you.
But they were there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I think that is so awesome because I relate to you on that piece too of having to figure out like your own confidence around it. Because I remember the first time like somebody was able to tell me this because I felt like similar situation, like single parent household. I'm the middle of 5 siblings, all of that good stuff. But I felt like I was charting a path that I did not see my 2 older siblings go through. I didn't see anybody who looked like me go through. I didn't see my mom get to go through. And I was like, oh, I need to figure out like what confidence looks like for me. Like what do I actually like? What do I not like? And I remember the first time it was 8th grade and I was just like, I don't know if I want to play basketball seriously anymore. Like basketball was a way for me to bond with my mom because she played basketball, but it wasn't necessarily something that made me happy. I used it because it made her happy, and I was like, those are our touch points together. But I was like, dog, I love theater, I love dance. And I remember 8th grade, I decided to do a play Once on This Island, and my teacher, Miss Kewen, was just like, Marquise, you're actually a really good dancer. And I thought, I was like, dancing can't be my thing. Like, I'm all stiff, blah, blah, blah. But then my shout out to Mr. Callback, but he was like, Marquise, you came alive in a very different way. And I used dancing as a way to like show my other siblings, like, I'm not this golden child y'all think I am. Just because I get straight A's, like, I want y'all to know, like,
I can dance.
But it wasn't even, I wanted to show them, like, I can embarrass myself in front of other people, and I don't always need to be. They knew I was an academic.
Gotcha.
And so it was my way to do that. But even in that, I was like, but I want to work hard. I actually like this. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah. What type of dancing?
It was hip hop.
Oh, okay.
And I just kind of like.
I can see you as a hip hop.
Oh, I was a hip hop dancer. I did Latin ballroom. In college, I did contemporary, ballet, jazz. Tap cooked me. Okay. And I used to teach classes. Like that was like, I fell in love with dance in 8th grade. And people knew me. If you know me from home, you know me as a dancer. Okay. And so I played my cello and I danced and I did theater. And so like that was where my love was. Basketball was cool. Yeah. Basketball is cool. But like when Mr. Callback, I was dancing with Ashley and he was just like, Marquise, he's super religious. And he was like, I saw God move through you. He goes, I've never seen you this light and you let go and you're always so together and all of this. But he knew how I grew up. And so he was just like, make sure you don't ever lose dance in your life.
When the last time you danced?
College.
You need to dance.
I need to get back.
We got to get out and dance. I love to dance.
But that's when I'm out with everybody and I'm just dancing. I'm having a time because I'm like, this is what I love. But I was like, I need to get into the studio. Yeah. Because the studio is where like, my mom used the church to pray. My family used the church to pray. But for me to make sense of the world, going to the studio and turning up music made sense to me. Yeah. And so I was just like, this is where I get to let go and just create with my body and get to know my body and learn it and figure out what's for me. And so like, I was touched, cause that's why I love what you said around like going back and revisiting rapping. Yes. Yeah. Cause I was like, dance is what like, let me get back into class and just be a student again. I have realized this past weekend, I went to the theater again. I was like, I've not been inside a theater in years. I've not been on stage in years.
Well, I'm happy for you to get back to that. And that's because once you rediscover it again, it's going to give you that same feeling.
And I'm so excited. I was like, and I'm telling myself like, as he's on my way to 30, I want to be, my word for 29 is discovery and rediscovery. And so like, what am I learning about myself again? What am I finding that I love again? So going back to reading for pleasure, going back to the things that like nurtured my inner child. Right. I was like, child, I work. I'm good at this stuff. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. But like people now see me at podcasts, all this stuff, but I'm like, this ain't even my first love. Like I picked this up at 21, like, but like in reality, dance is what like, I'm like, oh, I can get lost in this again. So
going back and rediscovering the things that you once loved. And in that journey, you're going to find yourself again. And if not find yourself again, find a new version of yourself.
Yes.
Which is okay.
And I've been learning like that's okay.
And I love this version of myself right now.
Come on.
I really do. I think this is the best version of myself that I've ever been.
I think that's such a powerful thing and beautiful thing to say. That is so, just to sit here and just say, in this point in time, I love who I am.
I truly love
I am who I am.
Yes, I am.
And even like being like, I'm excited for who I am to be.
Yes.
It's so like, I tell myself, that's what I have to tell myself in the morning of just like, Marquise, you are enough at this moment. I'm so proud of you. Right. Like, and I have to tell myself that in the morning. That's why I take time to like journal. Because I'm just like, I'm not always getting that. And so I had to like teach myself to give myself that. But now so many more people pour into me, and I'm learning to like receive it in full abundance and not be.
You're a king.
Yeah.
I'm a queen.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes our crowns get tilted.
Look.
And sometimes we need a little reminder, and we just got to
readjust it.
And it's
going
to be all right.
Yo, thank you.
Yeah,
like, thank you for thank you for like legit, like it's a little emotional for me because I'm just like, it's so dope to be able to see somebody, especially you sharing how you grew up and stuff like that. Like, that's what I fully understand. No, don't do that. I'm a crybaby. Don't do that. But like to see just somebody else like really do the thing. Dang, I'm be, we out here. Yeah. But thank you, because I think it's so important for so many people to like do that, because it takes so long, and some people never get to this point.
Yeah.
And some people are just like struggling because they don't know what's next, or they don't know how to rediscover themselves, or they don't know how to speak to themselves in love and all that. But you are doing that, and you're giving that to people. And I think that is such an important thing. So I want to just say like, thank you for what you do.
You're very welcome.
And I appreciate you.
Yes.
And like telling your story has been awesome. And just like listening to you talk. And like, this ain't the last time you're going to be on the show.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Yes, you are.
Y'all gonna see me back.
Come on.
I'm coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But truly and honestly, thank you for this conversation tonight. I knew. And it's one of those where I was just like, on my spirit, I knew it was going to be something amazing and special. So
you can always feel energy within somebody. And I don't know if people are like strong believers in that, but the energy I felt beside you while we were playing the Uno game.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be the last time I see him.
Not at all.
And it wasn't.
And it's not.
I've seen you a couple times since then.
I know, and I'm so happy.
Yes, I'm very happy too. Yeah. I had such a good time here today.
Thank you. Honestly, please let the people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah. If you don't find me here at the Keeping It a Bean podcast, you could find me on Instagram at We Need to Talk Coach, and on my website at weneedtotalkcoach.com, on Facebook at We Need to Talk Coach. So that's where you can find me, and maybe some networking events and socializing around Philadelphia. I would like to say that as an extension of my ebook, The Power of No, Setting Boundaries Without Guilt, I will be putting together an event in the summer that I would love women to come out to, that is going to be an extension of the book. It's going to be a women empowerment social, similar to what I've held in 2023. So keep an eye out on that. IG at weneedtotalkcoach.com, and I'm out.
Come on, you better ready for the tag. Y'all already know what it is. This is another episode of Keeping It a Bean. I'm so excited to continue to celebrate Women's History Month in this way. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Peace.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
All right.
We are now going to steep into the conversation. Why would you say that, bro?
I'm sorry.
What? Oh, when it came back, like, and we're back. Because once you clap, it's like, and we're back. All right.
Yeah, I get right into character.
All right. I'll be more natural.
Hocus pocus, let me focus. We're good. We're back. Okay.
All right.
We're good.
Okay.